What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some Idle Heroes. I want to thank you guys so much for coming hang out with me today. If you liked the video, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button and show your support. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well. Alright guys, today, we're here on the Big Daddy account. Not that it really matters, it's just, we're on an account. What we're doing today is we're talking about the new events, because Christmas events are here. And when the Christmas events come around, we talk about them. It's what we do. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and check them out. And then after that, we'll go through and we'll check out all the heroes that are available in the event. There's a lot of them, but we're going to go through them just because it's important, I think, for newer players to know, what heroes are on offer and, are they good or not? It's important. You see I have a little bit of snowflakes here. We'll talk about that in a second, whatever. First up is Foolish's Wish. This is a new event, one I've not yet seen before, or I can't remember if there was a decoration event last year. There might have been. Essentially, you've got to decorate three things. You've got to decorate a wreath, a snowman, which I've never understood that. Like, why would you put, clothes that are supposed to keep something warm on a snowman? Isn't that, counterintuitive? They want to be cold, don't they? I don't know. Anyways, you decorate the wreath, the snowman, the tree, and if you could decorate them all, I guess Foolish, I guess he's the snowman, I don't know. Anyways, the wreath and the Christmas tree, you get 45 relics and the new artifact, the Lucky Candy Bar, except for that's definitely a candy cane, but, whatever. Potato, potato. But it does give you a pretty solid thing. Attack and HP are always nice. They're really good buffs. But it's the first artifact in the game to give a full-on resistance to a crowd control type. So no longer can you be stunned if you're wearing this artifact. Really good against things like Cruz, King Barton, Valentino. Really solid artifact against those guys. So pretty cool. The problem is, this is not something anyone at free-to-play is going to get. This is mainly going to be whale territory or, extreme couponers who've been saving their heroic scrolls since, last year. Otherwise, you're not going to make this happen. We'll talk about why. So the cheapest one to get here is going to be the wreath. If you click on it, boop, it pops up this little screen here. It gives you a fat moose skin who looks pretty hot. I like it. Hot. Whatever. Not important. I don't know is that a piece of field or something he's roasting right there? I don't know. It's a thing. Alright, anyways, if you complete this little area, you're going to get 10 glorious relics and the new skin, some 4-star gears, and some super chips. Cost 100 snowflakes to decorate each time, so to get your 2 decorations to complete the wreath, it takes 200 snowflakes. That's pretty easy to get. Every free-to-play player should be able to do this one, but should you do it? That's the question we're going to answer next. Right here is the next cheapest, and that's the snowman / foolish, I guess, and the rewards here are obviously substantially better. You get a Valkyrie copy, obviously one of the top tier heroes of the game right now. Everyone builds her because she's just everywhere. And some glorious relics as well. So probably the best, it's definitely the best in my opinion, reward for completing anything, but it's much more expensive to do. As you can see down here, it's going to take 150, 150, and 200. It's a total of 500 snowflakes to complete this, but you're also going to get 10 profit orbs and an elite 5-star hero, plus you get Valkyrie and the relics. The problem is, it's not super easy to get this done, and we'll talk about why that is here in a second. And then lastly, you have the tree, which is going to give you the Antlers Cane and 30 glorious relics, but it costs 600 snowflakes to complete it, giving out the similar rewards to Valkyrie, but with the addition of the soul symbols and some skin shards. So I would still personally recommend, if you're only going to do one, which most people will only be able to do one, is to do the snowman, grab the Valkyrie copy, get the good stuff. Don't worry about the Antlers Cane. Is it a decent artifact? Sure. Is it that great? Nah, it's not worth, I would say, skipping a Valkyrie, in my opinion. But anyways, if you check up here in the info button, the way to get snowflakes is every day, of course, you get them in the mail, but you can also get 10 snowflakes every time you get a 5-star hero through summoning. So I'm assuming that includes friendship and basic summons. It doesn't specify if it's heroic only, but also the creation circle or hero shard summoning. So if you pull heroes out of your bag or you fuse them up, it still counts toward that cap. You can only do 25 though. Once you've gotten 25 5-star heroes, whether that's through summoning, creation circle, or hero shards, you don't get any more of them. So you can get 250 snowflakes that way, and that's it. Once you've got those 250, you is done. The other ways you get them are obviously through portions of the event, you can buy one from the package, wherever that is, the Christmas package, is it right there? You get a couple here. I've already bought it because I wanted it, okay? I bought it. I'm a buyer of things. That's where I got my extra 50 snowflakes, because you start out with 10, but whatever. And also through these summon prizes, you get them as well through summoning. So with that said though, if you can fully complete the event, if you have 500 heroic scrolls, plus the 250 that you're going to get from summoning heroes, plus the 10 you get every single day, you can complete this one here without spending any additional money. And that's why I would say this is the one you want to focus on if you can already math a path to 5, that's good. Anyways, sorry. If you have a good, solid, guaranteed way to make 500 snowflakes, this is where you want to focus. If you aren't going to make it there and you can already tell there's no way in crap that you're going to get 500 snowflakes, then might as well just use your snowflakes here. Get something for your time, even though it's not going to be nearly as good, obviously, as this reward. But yeah, only the whales are going to complete all 3, or the people that have been saving for absolute ages. So to get this is just, it's ridiculously expensive. It's crazy. Unbelievable. But yes, there we go. The important thing out of here, if you can complete the event, if you can get to 500 snowflakes, decorate foolish, don't worry about anything else, make sure you get that. That's the important part. Once you've completed all 3, you can decorate the ribbon back here in the background for 10 every time to get an elite 5-star hero shard and 1,000,000 gold. Of course, nobody's gonna be doing this except for incredibly, spending peoples. Very spendy peoples. But that brings us down to the next portion of the event. Foolish's Blessing. Now this is where you have Santa Claus Foolish, because why not? And he has to walk a little bit of a path. He has to walk a path all the way around to the end, and to send him there, you have to send little greeting cards. Bam. That's what it is, right? Greeting cards. Yes, Christmas cards, greeting cards, whatever you want to call them. They calls them different things. A greeting card and a Christmas card. Make up your mind, game. Anyways, every time you get one of these, you send him, when you click it, like, boop, he will move 1 step. Well, obviously, you get 2 steps out of 28 steps to get this reward, which is a field skin. Ooh, yeah. I don't know why that's a Christmas skin. Maybe the candy cane. I guess that's about as far as it goes for Christmas. Actually doesn't look that bad. I'm actually kind of on board with that. If field was actually a better unit, I'd wear it. I'd wear it. Then at 5 steps, you're going to get a avatar for the deal, plus 888 gems. Not bad. Not sure how they came to 888 gems. Someone out there will probably tell me, like, this is why. I have no idea. It's just a number. And then you get to 10. Boom, you get a 5-star fortress. At 14, you get a 5-star shadow. At 18, you get the new Belrain skin. Ooh, she has a little wreath that she floats in her hand. Looking good. Looking good, Belrain. I like it. At 21, you get a 5-star forest hero and some regular spins. And then at 24, this is locked behind spending. Right here, 21 is going to be the max for a free-to-play player. You can only get to 24 and 28 if you spend money. That's just the way it's going to be. But anyways, you get the 5-star Abyss hero, 5 super chips, and at 28, you get Scary, which we'll talk about in a moment. So there you go. That's Foolish's thing. How do you get the cards? The cards come from the Christmas gift down here. Boom. You got a free one that you can get every day. And in it is the card, 2 heroic summons, a super coin, and 3,000,000 gold. So you go ahead and claim it. Yes, I want to claim that stocking. Beautimus! The 4th one I've already claimed because that was part of the Christmas special package. It unlocks the 4th sock. I went ahead and bought it. That's why I bought it. Just, heads up. Anyways, the other 2 are locked behind gym purchases. Now, they're not a gym purchase every day. So if you're thinking, oh my god, that's so expensive, why would I do that? It's not. You unlock it one time and it's unlocked forever. And the good thing is, if you math out the rewards, over the course of 7 days, which you get for 7 days, you're going to get 7 profit orbs, which is 3,500 gems worth of profit orbs just by itself. This does not include the extra rewards you're going to get from the invitation cards or the fact you're going to get 3 heroic summons every time. Now, they also say here that the events do, the socks, where does it say it? Where does it say it? It said it somewhere. I'm like 65% sure I read it somewhere. That the loot like stacks up. So if you don't get day 1 on this, if you bought it on day 2, you wouldn't get 1 card, you'd get 2, you'd get 6, and you'd get 2. So if you're a day behind, the cumulative reward should stack. I don't know because it's only day 1 right now. We'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and buy it though. Which ones? They're the same, aren't they? They're the exact same. Go ahead and buy that out because I want to have it. I want to have it, and then I need to get this one as soon as possible. Whatever. We'll get there. We'll absolutely get there. But anyways, every single day you're going to get this loot. It ends up being a pretty hefty amount of loot. So 2 heroic summons plus 3, that's 5. This last one here gives 5, that's 10. And then 3 more. That's 13 heroic scrolls every single day for 7 days. That's a lot of heroic summons. That's like, what, 91 heroic summons over the course of a week? Not bad. Not to mention you get 14 profit orbs as well, which helps you obviously with orb events. It's a pretty solid deal. Like, overall, it's really solid. Plus, again, you're going to get those Christmas dealios, the cards to send this guy on his way. And the further you can get, obviously, the more loot you're going to get all the way throughout. So, I would say they're very much worth the gems if you have them. If you don't have them, obviously, don't worry about it. But if you save back your gems as free to play, this is a pretty safe thing to buy. And it's going to give you more back than you put into it. So, we'll be getting this one unlocked soon. Hopefully, it is cumulative because, I don't have enough gemages on this account to make it happen just quite yet. But whatever, we'll get there. Grey Door's Blessing still running. It's obviously the same as it always been. No reason to talk on that again. Value packages. The value packages have added in these snowflakes, so if you want to spend some money, that's also a way to help decorate your tree a little faster. Again, for free-to-play players, this doesn't help you at all. The rewards are pretty standard, though. 80 summons, 5,000 gems. You're just getting the extra event currency this time when you buy them. If you really want to get that Valkyrie and you're just going to be a little bit short, maybe worth dropping some monies here to get that. Just, whatever's up to you. But they're pretty standard. The best return on your investment, of course, is going to be the $100 package this time. You get more snowflakes for it. Plus, you get better heroic scroll rewards too. So, just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Anyways, value packages out of the way. The summon package, obviously, is going to be the new hero, Aspen. Oh, he looks good too. We're going to look at him in a little bit. Ooh, I'm excited. And then we got summon prizes. Surprisingly enough, the summon prizes aren't huge. They're good rewards. It's just, they're 500 points. They didn't jump it up to 700 or 1,000 or like whatever crazy numbers they want to jump it up to. It was the same as every other event, which is really cool. I'm really glad they kept it that way. But doing the event, as always, gives you the normal stuff. It's going to give you the first 300 points. You get the 15 profit orbs. Not bad. Good reward right there. 30 heroic scrolls, just like always. But it also adds in the snowflake currency. Total over the entire event, you're going to get 200 snowflakes from this, which if you add the 200 plus the 250 from summoning out heroes, and then 5 days of 10 in your mail, you're going to get 500, which allows you to get the Valkyrie copy. That's why I said if you can full complete, you can make it happen. You can absolutely make it happen. Anyways, once you get to 400, you're going to get the new hero, Aspen. Weird. I don't know why they named him Aspen, because there's already an Aspen dungeon. I don't know. It's going to weird me out for a while, but it's thing. Anyways, boom. And then once you get to 500 points, you get the relics, of course, which is great. We'll talk about the relic shop here in a second. Actually, we can do it right now. Bam! Some great news in the relic shop, peeps. Oh, Horus is now a thing. I'm excited. Minnie's been waiting for this moment for ages, and now I can finally buy him. And I believe he's also now in the Elite 5-star Shard category, so he's a potential drop from those as well now. Really good news. But anyways, that's the summon event out of the way. The hero exchange, this is in the altar. You have Xiao and Cruz. And now, I guess it's time to start talking about the heroes that you get from the event. Which ones do you all get? We get, up here, you get Valkyrie. No other heroes come in up here. On Foolish, you're going to get Scary is the only one that's guaranteed. And then Aspen, and the 2 that come in the altar. So let's talk about the heroes. So what we're going to do, I know some people don't like this, so we're going to start it out talking about the new hero just so you're not bored through it. We'll look at these first. Just see the costs of them. 5,500 for a Xiao, 5,000 for Cruz. Pretty much everything rewarded in this event is a god tier or top tier hero. There's nothing bad hero-wise that drops in this event. They're all really good. So we'll jump in, we'll start talking about Aspen. Now, keep in mind, Aspen is pure speculation right now because, as far as I know, nobody has a 10-star yet, and if they do, congratulations, I guess. But anyways, we're going to talk about him. Look at this guy, dude. Oh my gosh, I love this dude. 100% already in love. He looks freaking awesome. I love it. Look at him. Ooh, shake it. Bam. Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh, I like it. But anyways, let's talk about him. So anyways, for a warrior, he's quite fast. 1172 speed, not bad for a warrior. Pretty low armor for a warrior, but it's not a huge deal. You'll talk about that in a second. Pretty high HP, nearly 600,000, not quite, and pretty decent attack as a warrior as well. But let's jump into his skills and talk about where I think this guy's going to fit. Anyways, first up, the active skill, 206% of his attack is damaged against 4 random enemies, and an additional 20% of the target's current HP is damage. And this is obviously going to be capped by his attack, 1,500% of his attack, because if he didn't have a cap on it, he would do like billions of damage to a boss, which is just insane. But also has a 50% chance to horrify the targets for 2 rounds. Now, horrify is a new form of crowd control. It's kind of like silence, but the opposite. It's the opposite of silence. It allows them only to use their active skills, but they can't use normal attacks. Now, some people thought this would be really bad. Like, what, the active skills where the damage comes from. Why would you block them from using normal attacks? Well, certain heroes benefit a lot from normal attacks. Things like Cruz and Belrain, off the top of my head. If you can keep them from using their basic attack, they can't heal, which is really nice. But also, if you don't have an active skill ready when you get horrified, you can't attack and build energy. So you're going to sit there and do nothing. You're pretty much, it's like a soft crowd control. You can't attack. You're just going to sit there and stare at the guy, and the enemy team's going to hit you. Now, it's not a perfect form of crowd control because, of course, as enemies hit you, you do gain energy, unless Horrify blocks energy gain, which I don't think it does. I don't have one yet, so I don't know. But you can still gain energy by hitting them, and if you hit them, obviously they can get their active skill. But, it seems like a pretty decent thing. Not to mention it comes with a really big damage drop for bosses, but also has crowd control for PvP, which is interesting. Now, on top of this, Aspen's going to gain a shield whenever casting his active skill. 5 shields at most, so you can only stack up 5 shields, but each shield adds 20% control immunity and 6% damage reduction. This is huge. This is absolutely huge, especially for PvP, but really anywhere. It gives him some survivability, and once you get all 5 shields stacked, he has 100% control immunity. He can't be crowd controlled. You can't horrify Aspen. You can't do anything to him, crowd control-wise. But also he's going to gain a hot 30% damage reduction as well, which is great. That means he's going to be harder to kill. Harder to kill, always nice thing for your units. And this right here makes him look good for both PvE and PvP. We'll come back and circle around to it later, of course, but let's read the passive. Increase HP by 40%, attack by 20%, but on top of that, he gains a 35% crit chance, which you'd be like, well, that's kind of weird for a warrior. You'll see why shortly. But also he gains 50% armor break. Again, this is nice in PvP, but it's even better when you're fighting bosses, because armor's a really big deal for bosses. The fact that he's going to cut through half of it just straight up, not bad. Not bad at all. I like it. And here's his second passive here. His normal attack is going to hit 3 random enemies for 120% of his attack as damage, with a 35% chance to horrify them. So he has crowd control on his basic and active skill, which is pretty solid. Not a lot of units have that. Kamath, I think, is the only one. I guess Dark Arthur kinda, but she doesn't really count because hers kind of sucks. But it does. But anyways, that's not bad. Crowd control on an active and a basic, not bad deal. Again, we already know that caused them to be unable to use normal attacks. But every normal attack he does also grants him 15% attack and 15% crit damage and stacks one of his shields. So that's pretty strong, and there's no round limitation on these that I see. If that was just left out, then that's a thing. But from what I can tell, these are perma buffs, and they've been doing a lot of that recently. Horus has perma buffs and stuff like that too. So what it would seem like is every time he does a basic attack, he's going to gain 15% attack, 15% crit damage, and put one of his shields on. So he's going to stack up his control immunity and damage reduction very, very fast. Not to mention, he's also going to be gaining attack every round and crit damage every round, which is going to pair very well with his active skill that is capped by his attack, his max attack. So if you keep stacking attack every round with your basic attack, by the time you get to round 15 on a boss fight, you're going to have a huge amount of attack, and you're going to chip off a huge amount of HP when you hit a boss. It seems really tough. Plus, you're getting crit damage on him. You say, well, that's kind of weird for a warrior. Well, he also has 35% natural crit. So when you start stacking up that huge crit damage amount, he's going to nuke not only with the percent-based HP damage, but he's going to nuke with just the 200% attack, because it's going to crit. It's going to have a huge amount of crit damage behind it as well. It's kind of like a marriage of Berea and Horus. Like, they got together and made a baby, and this is what it is. And I kind of like that. And also, I guess, KB jumped in there and had a little three-way with him to get some crowd control. I don't know. But anyways, it seems pretty tough. And that brings us to the last passive. When Aspen's attack causes the target's health to drop below 35%, he deals an extra 200% damage and heals himself for 100% of his dealt total damage as HP. This is the only other unit besides Karim that heals based on damage dealt and not based on an attack stat or any other stat. And that can be really strong. Now, I'm not sure how much damage he's going to be dropping, but by the time you get somebody to 35% health, I'm assuming Aspen's going to have a decent amount of attack built up and crit damage built up because of his basic attacks passives. And then he's going to drop another 200% damage when they fall below 35% health. So he gets an extra nukage right there, plus that nuke is going to heal him. He seems really strong. And I'm not just saying that. I feel like this guy is going to be like the new go-to dark hero. Like, Amu's great, Dasmog's fantastic, they're really good heroes. I feel like Aspen, with the stats that he has, the skills he has, the kit, that he's going to work everywhere. If you want to take him in the Aspen dungeon, he's got some sustain built in. That's not bad. Plus, he's going to be horrifying people, which is a great form of crowd control. I feel like he's going to work pretty much everywhere. You want to take him into a boss fight, he's going to do great damage. He has a percent-based HP damage, which is fantastic. He's going to stack attack and crit damage over time, so by wave 15, he's hitting really hard. Take him into PvP, he's got 2 different forms of crowd control. Well, the same, I guess, one form of crowd control, but on his basic and active skill. Plus, he has nuke ability. Plus, he gains control immunity. I feel like this guy is really up there. I feel like he's going to be a really, really, really top-tier build. Of course, being a dark hero makes it harder to build him, but he seems like he's going to be like the new OP unit. Now, I don't know. I hate using OP because it's so ruined. But he does seem really strong in every area of the game so far. We'll see, of course, as time goes by and more people build him. For right now, though, I would say this guy is absolutely going to be a god tier hero. If you've got one, you're going to poop on people, and that's a good thing. So that's Aspen out of the way. What all is on offer? I already forgot. There's nothing in Shadow, is there? Look at it, think. I don't believe so. Fortress, I know there's a Xia. In Fortress. Bam. Now, I actually have an E3 Xiao, which is great. If you guys don't know about Xiao, she's a really solid unit. She works in a few different areas pretty well, mainly boss damage. She does pretty decent boss damage, pretty good in PvP as well. Nice damage drops, good nuke ability on single targets with also some attack debuff, which is great. But she even works a little bit in the Aspen as a node breaker on really tough waves that give a lot of people a lot of problems. So first up, her active skill has a huge amount of attack built into it, deals 396% of her attack as damage against the enemy with the highest attack. This is important because it also is going to decrease the enemy's attack by 40% of their attack for 3 rounds, gradually decreases attack by 10% each round, and deals 290% of her attack as bleed damage. So it's a huge burst in general, heavy damage attack that nerfs the enemy's attack, and then does a heavy damage over time effect afterwards. It's a very solid thing. It counters things like Scary pretty well. You can burst Scaries down pretty hard with this, but really any high attack unit is going to suffer from this. Faith Blades, whatever you have that has really high attack, she's going to kind of put a damper on it. And it's nice. It's very nice in PvP. I use mine in PvP. It's great. It's also good in PvE because you have a heavy damage over time, heavy damage, and you reduce the boss's attack, which means it's easier to keep your team alive. Just an all-around really good unit. Second passive here is just kind of her normal run-of-the-mill passives. Attack, 70% block, 30% control immunity, and some speed. This makes her one of the fastest units in the game, which is really nice for PvP to get those nukes out early. But other than that, I guess it's mainly for PvP. Speed doesn't really matter that much in PvE, really. Not really, it doesn't really matter. But anyways, the block is kind of nice, and the control immunity, again, that pairs well in both PvE and PvP. It's always a nice thing. But the reason block's important is because when she blocks, she's going to boost her self-crit by 20% and attack by 15% each round for 4 rounds. This is nice. When you get a lot of blocks built up on Xiao, like if you run her in the 1 slot in PvP like I do, she can nuke incredibly hard very quickly. She can drop down a unit in a single attack. It's really awesome. I love using it. Her big downside, though, minus the fact she has a huge amount of damage, the highest attack stat in the game so far, she has a really low HP stat, so she is pretty squishy. The block does help with that, having a high amount of block, but it still makes her kind of easy to kill. It does. She can be nuked out pretty fast, but she also does some heavy nuking. She's like a glass cannon, kind of. Last passive here, her basic attack deals 260% of her attack as damage against the enemy with the lowest HP, so it targets the guy that's hurting the most, hits them freakishly hard, and then adds a nice little dot on top of that. 180% of her attack as bleed damage. So she's just all around like kind of a bully. She picks on the person with the weakest HP, but she's like a cool bully, because then she goes around like hits the guy with the highest attack and nerfs his attack down, kind of makes him a weenie muffin, and it's great. It's a really solid kit for her. She's a really good unit. I love mine, got her at E3, she's fantastic. Really solid in PvP, great in PvE, just the Aspen dungeon, she doesn't have she's not a main Aspen unit, she's not going to run it for you, but on really hard nodes like those Belrain, Gurki, Asmo, Michelle nodes that are so hard to beat with Valkyries and stuff, she comes in and just wipes them out. She will take them down in no time. It's absolutely awesome. So really good unit. Like I said, everything that's on offer this week is a fantastic unit. There's nothing bad that drops this week. So if you get any hero from the event, it's going to be good. It's guaranteed to be good. Over here in the Abyss faction, we have both Cruz and Scary. We'll start with Scary because he's earlier on. If you guys don't know about Scary, he's been around for a long time, and he's still pretty freaking good. He's still a beast. So we'll talk about him for a second. His active skill, it doesn't do a lot of damage. You look at it and you're like, well, that's kind of low. Only 114% of his attack is damage. It hits all enemies, which is nice, and it also tags them with a lightning mark. And at the same time, there's a 30% chance to put an extra lightning mark on the enemy. What lightning marks do is they increase the active skill damage of Scary that's taken by the target by 35%. So essentially, as you put lightning marks on the enemy, this active skill of Scary's is constantly hitting harder and harder and harder over the course of a battle. So the longer a battle runs, the more dangerous Scary becomes, and he can nuke entire teams in a single hit. Watched it happen a lot, still happens a lot. It's pretty solid. But first passive here, he gets a nice little bit of reduced damage, some HP, and some crit. All good things. Crit helps him hit harder. Reduced damage helps him survive, which is important, obviously, because you want him to stack more lightning marks. It's nice. It works together. It just does. Second passive. Bam. Basic attack is going to also tag the enemy with a lightning mark, which is great. Of course, it's going to boost the active damage, the active skill damage they take from Scary's skills, but also it's going to steal the target's attack by 10% for 2 rounds. This is useful in more way than one. It's also, obviously going to boost his damage because it steals their attack, but at the same time, you're debuffing enemy attack. So this is good in PvP situations to help people hit a little less hard. It's also good in PvE situations to make bosses hit less hard, but also make Scary hit harder. It works pretty much everywhere. It's a really solid passive to have. It's great. It's just good. And then his last passive here, boom, when he gets hit, so every time he gets taken damage, he's going to tag them with a lightning mark. Again, we already know what lightning marks do, but it also is going to give him crit damage, extra 15% crit damage for 3 rounds. This is pretty powerful. As you can see, Scary not only stacks lightning marks with his active skill, his basic attack, but also when he's hit. So no matter what's happening to Scary or what Scary's doing, he's stacking lightning marks. And this goes crazy when you put 2 of them together, 3 of them together. They just continually stack these debuffs on the enemies, and they hit freakish numbers. I mean, there's videos out there of people saying he's at 3 billion damage in Broken Spaces. I believe it. I've seen 2 of them together hit over 1 billion damage against Broken Spaces bosses because they're going to stack their active skill damage just crazy high through the roof. They're always stealing attack. The only time this attack steal actually backfires on you is when you're fighting Xiao, because it's going to give Scary the highest attack on the field, and then Xiao will come in and nuke him down in like 1 hit. It happens a lot. That's what my Xiao usually does when I fight Scaries. Because he steals all that attack, he gets a huge attack stat, and then her active skill targets him, and it can kind of shut him down early. But other than that, it's just all around solid. He's a really good unit in PvP and PvE. In fact, I guess we can just take a quick second here, because people, arenas are different on every server. Whatever server you play on, the meta might be a little bit different everywhere. In this one, our top 2 players, Sky and Sky 2, both run a very similar team. 3 E3 Scaries, 2 E3 Cruz, and an E3 King Barton. He farms people with Valkyries all day long. Valkyrie can't stand against him. He just poops all over their souls, and he's been doing this ever since Valkyrie launched. He's been farming him. It's great. Sky 2 has a very similar team. He's got 3 E3 Scaries, except for having 2 E3 Cruz. He has 2 E3 King Bartons. These guys are absolute beasts. They destroy our PvP world hardcore. Nobody can really beat them. That's why they always stay at the top. But even Lord Nelson down here at the double Valkyrie doesn't take them. He does not take them. Even with 2 Valkyries, he still gets beat. So it's really solid. It's still solid in PvP, depending obviously on your server and the meta that's used in your server. It's always a little bit different here and there. But where I'm at, Scary is still absolutely top tier material. Great in PvP, fantastic in PvE, and he even works well in the Seal Land when you have crowd control in front of him like the King Barton Cruz combos. Just a really good unit. That brings us to Cruz, also on offer through the Altar Shop this week. If you guys don't know about Cruz, I don't know where you've been, because he's everywhere. Everybody and their brother uses Cruz. Anyways, we'll read through a little bit. Active skill deals 150% of attack as damage, which is not important at all. The damage is negligible at best. But the big thing is that weakens the targets for 3 rounds. Weaken, as it says here, is going to cause the heroes to take an additional 15% damage, or 15, that would suck. 50% damage, and it does not stack, but it is an extra 50% damage, and that's nice. That is nice stuff. It's also going to boost one of your allies' energy by 100%. So essentially what it does is it refills one of your allies' skill bars by 100. If your ally already has 100 energy, it's going to stack up another 100 energy on top of that, which gives them 100% skill damage. I think that's how it works. Pretty sure. But either way, it's going to give them 100 energy, which is great. Works out really nice. This works pretty well in PvE as well. That weaken does add damage to your team. It's really nice. But other good things about Cruz is his basic attack. It's going to target backline enemies, dealing 90% damage, which isn't really important. It reduces their armor by 15%, which is great for boss fights, and even in PvP it's not bad, but the big thing here is it heals 2 random allies for 20% of the allies' maximum health. That is very big. Especially now with E3s, where there's such large health pools. Valkyrie's having like 10 million in-battle HP. A 20% max health heal is a huge deal. It actually heals a lot more than a Vesa will, which is nice. It's really nice. So Cruz is really popular for those reasons. His heal is great. He has a weaken. But there's still more. There's more yet to come. He has a nice little passive here that gives him some reduced damage and speed. Speed's not super important. I mean, it's not bad. But the reduced damage is nice. It makes him a little bit more tanky, which some people don't like tanky Cruzes. I personally do. The longer they last, kind of the better. But anyways, the last pass is where a lot of people love Cruz. It's like the biggest thing for him. When he falls below half health, he has a 75% chance to stun all enemies for 2 rounds. Now, obviously, this has nothing to do with boss fights. It doesn't do anything there. But when it comes to PvP, having a passive built-in huge chance to stun is fantastic. You see a lot of people will ditch auras even to throw a Cruz in their team just to get that crowd control. It's still powerful even with Valkyrie. Like I said, the top people on my in our server use 2 Cruces and a King Barton. That's a lot of crowd control. Because they have so much burst behind it with Scary, they still don't have to worry about Valkyries at all. They still poop on them. It's great. But this guy's solid. Pretty much anywhere that crowd control works. Well, not in the Aspen dungeon. He kind of sucks there. But in terms of, your Tower of Oblivion, not bad. Crowd control is great there. In PvP, fantastic. Just a really good unit. Like I said, everything that's on offer this week is good. There is nothing bad that comes out of this. Cruz, fantastic. Scary, fantastic. Xiao, fantastic. And this brings us to the last one on the list, and that is the old Valkyrie. Now, if you guys don't know about Valkyrie, I don't know what the crap you've been doing with your life, because she's everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Maybe on the older servers, there's not as many because it's harder, I guess, to build units on older servers. I don't think it is, but some people say it is. But on every newer server that comes out, she is the most primarily built unit in the game right now because she's very versatile. She's very good in a lot of different areas, and that's a good thing. Like I said, everything is dropping this week is good stuff. So first up, we'll jump in and read the active skill. Deals 162% of her attack as damage against 3 random enemies. Steals 15% of the enemy's attack for 3 rounds. That's great in PvE and PvP because you're not only hurting the enemy's attack, but you're also boosting your own. Not bad. It also burns the enemy with the highest health for 18% of Valkyrie's max HP for 2 rounds. That's really good, especially when everyone builds Valkyrie with, super max HP. You've got the Runes Power artifact, you've got the skin that gives her HP, and then you got the 2-piece Ranger set, 6-star set that gives her a massive amount of health. It's like over 6 million health pre-battle. So a lot of HP means that Dot hits really, really hard, and she nukes pretty hard. But that's not all. That is not all, there is more. Her first passive here just boosts max HP attack, and also crit chance by 30. The crit chance isn't bad, but nobody builds attack-based Valkyries because it's just a really bad build for her. Everyone goes HP, it's the way to go. So the crit, while it's nice, isn't a huge deal because, your dots can't crit. So, it's whatever. But anyways, after that, we got the next passive skill here. Her normal attack deals 95% of her attack to 3 random enemies, reduces their attack by 12%, so even after her active skill steals attack, her basic attack just reduces their attack flat out. So she has a lot of attack negation, which is great for PvE against harder bosses that hit really hard, because she keeps them from hitting really hard, and that's great for your team. But it also is going to burn the enemies for 6% of Valkyrie's max health for 1 round. Essentially, that's just as soon as she hits them, the dot stacks, and it hits them. But really solid damage there. Again, that's why everybody builds Valkyrie with max health, because all of her damage pretty much comes from her health. But again, with all the attack reduction and attack stealing she does, she's great pretty much everywhere. There's nowhere that Valkyrie's bad. Anyways, last passive here, when she gets controlled, so silenced, stunned, frozen, I assume Horrify will also proc this. She's going to heal for 200% of her attack continuously for 3 rounds. So a lot of healing popping in all at once. The more she gets controlled, the more this stacks, by the way. It's not like you get controlled once and that's all it procs. If you get controlled twice, like if you're already stunned and someone petrifies you, it procs again. But it's also going to burn 3 random enemies for 3% of Valkyrie's max HP for 1 round. So even if she's controlled, she's not only going to heal, she's also going to be dealing damage to the enemy. And this is why Valkyrie's been such a huge pain in the butt for PvP, because a lot of people were really heavily invested in AoE crowd control. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to counter Scary and stuff like that, keep the burst out of them. So they built huge teams built entirely around crowd control. Well, these AoE crowd control units don't hit very hard. Generally speaking, they have very low damage output, like Michelle's, things like that. They just don't hit really hard. And the thing was, they were just keeping Valkyrie at full health by controlling her a lot and dropping dots on their team. Now, a lot of the times these battles ended with nobody dying, but if you attacked a Valkyrie with a full team of E3s and only one E3 Valkyrie, if she kept getting crowd controlled by weak AoE crowd control like Dark Arthidal, Michelle, stuff like that, she wouldn't die. You couldn't kill her, and she'd be dropping damage on your team, and she just stayed alive the whole time, and you lost. You'd lose the fight. So people got really upset about it, like, oh my god, she's OP. There's still plenty of counters to Valkyrie. I've seen it all the time. People still beat them. The top guys on my server farm Valkyries all day. But she does really upset the meta that got put in really hard, that AoE crowd control. So people really got upset about Valkyrie. She was nerfed as soon as she came out because people complained so hard. And now people still want her nerfed again, which I think is kind of dumb. The new units are supposed to be strong. Otherwise, what's the point of putting them out? No one's going to build a unit that sucks. So anyways, really strong overall unit. Good everywhere in the game. When it comes to boss damage, she doesn't always hit really hard against bosses. Kind of depends on the boss. She never does bad damage, I wouldn't say. But when it comes to the Aspen dungeon, really solid unit there as well, especially once you get her 10-star plus. Pre-10 star, she's not super great in the Aspen. She's still really squishy and doesn't really heal enough. But once you get the 10 star plus with the huge health, and that heal kind of actually doing a little bit more for her, plus when you get it to E3 and have the resilience passive kick in, she's incredibly powerful in the Aspen dungeon. Definitely gonna take you to hell at E3, no problem. I've had E2 people with Valkyries get to hell. Really strong unit, really strong unit. She still struggles with certain things, damage over time, really kind of wrecks on her, burst damage wrecks on her. And in the Aspen dungeon, the Bell Rain nodes, good luck. Good luck. Doesn't really work out well for her. So anyways, though, that's the units covered in the event. We've got everything that's going to drop. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss anything. I feel good. I feel like I didn't miss nothing this time. Long video, but there's a lot of heroes to cover, and I wanted to make sure that newer players kind of knew what was going on. So there you go, guys. That's all the heroes, all the stuff about the event. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please make sure smash that thumbs up button and show your support. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as well and tell your friends about it because that definitely helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next one.